Are you lonely or are you alone? Let's look at the differences today. Loneliness and being alone are very, very different places to be. And today we're going to dive into the differences, and if you are lonely, we're going to find ways to overcome it. A big welcome to my channel, to my regular subscribers, and anybody new visiting, a big welcome to you. I hope you enjoy this video and subscribe and come back for more. Today I'm going to talk about something that touches all of us as we grow older, some more than others. The difference between loneliness and being alone. Now, loneliness is a feeling. It's an ache in your heart. It's a feeling of being unwanted, unnoticed, ignored, and a feeling that very much occurs even when you're surrounded by people. Loneliness can feel very heavy, but remember that it's not a weakness. And it's not your fault. It's a human need to want to feel connected. And today, that's something we can gently work on. Being alone, on the other hand, can be an absolute gift. It can be a time for recharging one's batteries, doing things that you like doing on your own, and just being alone. Think about quiet moments that you have alone. Perhaps you're reading a good book. Well, you wouldn't want company, would you? Just being alone, reading that book. Perhaps just sitting, having a cup of tea, looking at your garden or working in your garden. Being alone, but being contented in your aloneness. Sometimes we need that time alone just to gather our thoughts away from the crowds. And when we learn the beauty of being alone, it can be such a gift. One that I'm sure if you are feeling lonely, you'd be interested in learning more about and trying to enjoy the feeling of being alone and not lonely. Of course, there are ways of overcoming loneliness if you are alone. A lot of people live alone, and you couldn't possibly be surrounded by friends and family all the time. But there are things that you can do to overcome that feeling of just wanting a little bit of connection with somebody. Video calling is just wonderful. Personally, I don't know what I'd do without video calls. My children live all over the world, and it enables me to talk to my grandchildren and my children and keep contact with them. If you keep the video calls not too long, because you know your children and your grandchildren are busy, you can make a couple of calls a week and keep contact with your family. Video calls to friends even. I have a video call with my sister who lives in the same town as I do. But even though she's in the same town, it's a little far to go for a quick cup of coffee. But it's so much nicer to see each other and talk on video than just hear each other's voices. So have video calls with your friends. They are free, so there's nothing stopping any of us doing that as well. If you're alone, you could join a community of some description. And I won't even begin to talk about the different groups there are. It would all depend on, obviously, the type of things you like doing in life. But there are so many, and these days there are even online groups. If you're perhaps not able to get to wherever you need to be, or even if the group that you join is in a different town to you, you know what? It can even be in a different country. There are lots of groups that you can join. Google that. Perhaps as an example, if you were interested in discussing sewing techniques with other ladies, Google it. Put online sewing group, school, club, whatever. Just see what comes up. And there's another thing you could do, maybe once a week. And of course, don't forget the amazing connection that we have when we give of ourselves. Perhaps you could volunteer somewhere. If you are able to get to wherever it is, get in your car and go and see if they need some help. Perhaps you can volunteer somewhere once a week. People are so desperate for others to help that even if you don't have your own transport, I'm sure somebody would be quite happy to fetch you and come in and help. And the last one that I'm going to talk about just in this little segment is hobbies. Now, so many people appear to not have a hobby, and there's so many to choose from. If you like watching YouTube videos, don't feel that that's a lazy thing to be doing. You can be learning. It can be a hobby for you. I know people who just love, they have hours spent happily watching YouTube videos on subjects that they enjoy. Exercises. It's hard to exercise on your own, to have the discipline to get out there and go for a walk or do your exercises. If you can, if you have transport and you are able, join a seniors exercise class or water aerobics. Now that's something I haven't done, and I really am thinking quite seriously of it, especially if you've had previous surgeries. Like I've had a couple of back ops, so I like to keep things a little more gentle with exercises. Water aerobics is just perfect. And maybe you can even ask a friend to do it with you and go together. But my friends, please remember that there's nothing wrong with feeling lonely sometimes when you are alone. And there's nothing wrong with reaching out for some company, some conversation. There's so many people who are feeling the same as you perhaps are. So they're not going to come knocking at your door. It's not something you need to be ashamed of, to admit that you're lonely. But perhaps it's time to take some gentle steps to get some extra activities in your life. Activities that'll take away that loneliness, so that when you are alone, you can enjoy that alone time and see it as the gift that it can be. Time for you to have your own thoughts and time to spend in gratitude for what you do have. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this video spoke to you, then please think about giving it a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified next time I upload a video. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you enjoy your alone time? Do you struggle with loneliness? And if you do, how do you overcome that? Until next time, take good care of yourself. Bye for now.